I'm not sure how to pronounce the title of this game, to be honest, and I'm not willing to make another embarrassing attempt at doing so after trying to say it in the Let's Play. Suffice to say, this game is another entry in the 2014 Indie Game Maker contest, and it's definitely among the more unique entries, not only because it boasts a real-time battle system, but because the game was created by a pair of French developers and was translated into English for the sake of the contest. Unlike most RPGs, this game doesn't attempt to sell itself on its story, but on its atmosphere. But this is truly a double-edged sword in my opinion. On one hand, the game does do a decent job in creating a tense and mysterious atmosphere. On the other hand, once you finish the game, your victory feels entirely hollow, since it isn't clear what you've achieved or if you've achieved anything at all. It's as if the game was one elusive dream that is filled with meaningless obstacles and a meaningless ending. I'm sure some could say the same about The Mere Lied, but that game not only had atmosphere going for it, but a boatload of symbols that could be interpreted in a wide variety of ways by the player. As stated previously, the combat system in this game is entirely done in real time. On the downside, the game suffers from a lot of flaws in this area, ranging from controls to spells feeling overpowered. I guess I should start by breaking down the issues with the controls, though. Most RPG Maker games make use of basically two buttons, which are the Z and X keys. Z is used for confirming choices, while X is used for opening the menu and cancelling selections. These two buttons make up almost the entirety of the controls in most games. In this game, the control layout is awkward since you use items by pressing the W key, but before you can use an item, you have to select it first by going into the item menu and marking a specific item as your default choice, which you can do by hitting the S or L buttons and confirming your choice with the spacebar or enter key. This also applies with the magic spells, which are activated by using the X button. But to really mess things up, several of the controls overlap. A good example of this is that you can use the spacebar, the C key, and the enter key in order to swing your sword. Suffice to say, the unusual layout for this game isn't exactly welcome, especially when you consider the fact that you can pull up the control layout, only to find out that it isn't entirely accurate. Another problem the game suffers from is that magic feels overpowered, in my opinion. You can basically use certain spells like lightning to snipe enemies from a distance, but you can use spells like fireball to rain massive amounts of damage upon your enemies at extreme speed. And I'd be a negligent critic if I didn't point out that your usual rate of movement feels like you're waddling through hip-deep mud, while your running speed feels more like it's ankle-deep. The game just never feels that particularly fast, even at the best of times. To further slow down the game, it also features a few block-solving puzzles. While the inclusion of block puzzles wasn't a bad idea in concept, it also feels like it's only there to pad out the game. Visually speaking, the game features some rather nice artwork in conjunction with some excellent choices in music in order to set a tense and mysterious atmosphere. About the only real negative with the graphics is that there's no animation for pushing the blocks, which sort of makes it look like you're just slamming your face into the blocks in order to move them. While the game does contain a strong atmosphere that's mysterious and tense, it also comes across as pretentious because of its lack of depth. Or at the very least, it comes across as pointless since you don't appear to have truly accomplished anything by the end of the game. As for my verdict, I'd say this game is a pass.